Hello everyone and welcome back to Scylla's Podcats, or welcome to Scylla's Podcats. And you know what, I've just fully decided to embrace the laid back kind of video style because I'm very busy at the moment, which means I'm very busy worrying about a lot of things and not necessarily that busy doing things, but I'm currently writing my bachelor's thesis and I have to be done with it January 9th, and I've done nothing except the basic research, and I've started it's a whole process, but because I've been so busy, I've also been very busy distracting myself, and it wasn't necessarily with books. So now that the end of the year is approaching, I still have a few challenges that I haven't finished and a few books I'm very likely not going to be finishing in 2023, and we're just embracing that. So today is just a very laid back video of, this is technically a TBR for December, but if anything happens I will drop it at a moment's notice because I have no capacities left to worry about an arbitrary TBR at this point. So this is just a collection of books that I currently have that I would like to finish before 2023 ends. If it's gonna happen or not is something I will just have to live with. So I have an assortment of books on my lap right now, which is why I'm sort of anxiously hovering right here. And these are books that I would really like to get to. I have a few that I still haven't finished yet. We're going to see how many of those I can finish in the, 3 days left of November at the time of filming this? I think it's 3 days. Yeah, we're gonna go from there. Actually, I forgot to get the books that I'm currently reading, so we're gonna rearrange and I'll see you in a second. Right, we've rearranged, I'm back. So, I was very ambitious in October, in case you remember, which also meant that October was then coincidentally, and not so coincidentally, the time where my videos just rapidly dropped. Because I had such great plans, and then I got sick, and I had so much to do, and I was worrying so much about how many books I was reading and how to do videos on them, so I just kind of didn't bother. However, a few of these, I could not finish because of course I was smart enough to do a lot of the longer ones towards the end of the month, which was a really, really great idea, except it absolutely wasn't. So in no particular order, we have three books I've left from October, which I also did not finish in November. We're not going to talk about that. We have my reread of Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James. As you can see, I made a valiant effort. I got a bit more than halfway through it, which is, honestly, I count that as a win. I really, really enjoyed this book, and I really, really enjoyed my reread of it as well, and I'm kind of hoping to finish at least the first book in 2023 so I can read the second book next year. We'll see if that happens. I really hope it does, because I kind of want to continue on with the series. However, right at this point, Marlon James is a bit too big brained for me. I'm very small brain at the moment because of certain academic things I have to be doing. So, I really hope that this one's going to happen this year though. We don't know anything about the second one. Moving on. So the next one is also a leftover, like as I said, I have 3 leftovers from October, and that is The Widow Queen by, what's her name, Elżbieta Czerezinska, which is a historical fantasy novel, something, translated from Polish into English. I got this from Sarah, and yeah, I got like a bit into it. It's very wobbly, which I really, look at that, look at that. I really enjoyed it at the time, but it was also, it's very big, it feels dense, like both physically but also from what's happening, and I could not do that in October. And again, November was just me abandoning any and all plans and just reading whatever I wanted to read, plus rereading for my bachelor's thesis. So there we go. But this is so we basically follow Światosława, who is the daughter of a duke in Poland, and she has to get married, and if I understand that correctly from everything that the book is saying, especially the like family trees in the back. She marries into all 3 northern kingdoms, I think. We'll see if that happens. So far she's married one of them, and I've forgotten his name because he's not important, but she is very much so. So I really don't know what else is going to happen in this book, and I'm really kind of excited, but I don't know if I will have the brain power to finish this in December. Cross your fingers, but we'll see. And the third one, keeping on point for the, you know, it's too big for my brain, we have Master of Poisons by Andrea Hairston. I also got this from Sarah, and I don't currently have the dust jacket with me, so it's just very bright and yellow. Wonderful. This book is really fascinating, and I've gotten like round about halfway through it as well. I really hope I will be able to finish this. Again, it's just, I took these 3 big brain books and I was like, you know, I can finish this in October, and then obviously I was wrong, so fun. I'm gonna put these down now. The other 2 that I'm still currently reading, these ones are both from the library, and I actually only started them in November, so that's great. We have The Fragile Threats of Power by V. Schwab and The Jasad Heir by Sarah Hashem. I'm closer to being done with this one because it reads surprisingly fast, and I'm probably also going to be done with this one relatively soon. I'm kind of hoping to finish both of them still in November, just so I don't have to worry about them come December. I reread the entire Shades of Magic trilogy to get to this one because I didn't remember a lot, and I was like, I want a treat. And I forgot how fast V. Schwab reads, so yeah. I don't recommend you pick up Threats of Power or Fragile Threats of Power if you haven't read the original trilogy, because it kind of like seamlessly connects to the story. I think it's like 10 years? 10 years after that? No, I don't think it's 10 years. But it's like a span of time after the trilogy ends, but like you're not really going to get a lot of the stuff that happens between the characters if you don't read the original trilogy first. You're going to miss out on a lot of character stuff. And you're going to get spoiled for everything that happens in the original trilogy, so don't do that to yourselves. However, if you have read the trilogy, so far I'm 100% enjoying this. I'm really having fun with it. I'm very glad to be back in that world and with those characters as well, so go knock yourselves out. And The Jasad Heir is an, I think, Egyptian-inspired? Yes, it's an Egyptian-inspired epic fantasy series. This is the first one out. I don't think the second one is out yet, and I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy, duology, more than 3 books. I don't know. But it's enemies to lovers with actually enemies to lovers. I'm a bit particular about that. And basically we have our main character, what's her name again? Sylvia. I'm really not good with names right now, y'all. Let's just ignore that. And Sylvia is from the Jasad kingdom. She is the Jasad heir, but Jasad was destroyed by another kingdom? Yeah, I think so. If you want accurate descriptions, right now is really not the time. But she gets found by the Heir of Nitzal, which was the kingdom, if I remember correctly, that destroyed Jasad, and now she's supposed to fight as a champion for him, while obviously hating his guts. I think so far she's tried to kill him approximately 5 times. She hasn't succeeded yet, but it's great, okay? Because whenever people say that something is enemies to lovers, it usually just isn't, and I'm really happy that this book is just, you know, it's giving me enemies to lovers, and I love that. So I'm really enjoying this one as well. Again, I'm really hoping that I'm going to finish at least this one in November, so we'll see. Okay. Now we're gonna get to the books that I haven't started yet that I would kind of like to read in December, and there's not really any rhyme or reason to most of these, so we're just gonna go for it. So first and foremost we have Labvona by Otessa Moshfegh. I read My Year of Rest and Relaxation by her. Really loved it, even though it was very depressing. I've heard very gruesome things about this one. I know absolutely nothing about it, except I think it's like a medieval death cult. I don't know. It sounded interesting though, so we're reading it. I got it from the library, so it's a bit more time sensitive than most other books on my TBR, but that's really about it. The next one is kind of a stand-in for books. I have a few options for this. This is for the prompt mystery on my full genre challenge of this year. It's the only prompt I'm still missing, so it's one of the reading challenges I think I can complete in 2023, and the physical option I have for this is The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. I got this because I'm doing my BA thesis on Frankenstein, and this is a not Frankenstein retelling, but it's essentially the author mixes a lot of literary characters as well as I think actual authors from the time. I'm not entirely sure anymore, but a lot of these characters get to have daughters, and those daughters get to interact with each other. Like, for example, we have, I think, the daughter of Frankenstein. The main character is called Mary Jekyll, so we know where she's from, and these characters get to interact with each other as well as with, you know, their literary predecessors in a way. I've heard mixed reviews about this, like some people say they really enjoyed it, some people said it was utter horseshit, so I'm kind of interested to see where I'm going to fall. I don't know if it's going to be specifically this one. As I said, I have a few more options for the mystery prompt, but, you know, maybe. I mean, it's just 400 pages, so really, there's no harm in trying it. I sound very unenthusiastic about it, I'm sorry, I'm just really tired. Moving on. So the next one is me going out with a bang. Sarah over at Voyage Through Words is still currently doing a readathon for the, for Jacqueline Carey's book series in the Kushiel world, I suppose. And the last one of the second trilogy of Imriel's trilogy is Kushiel's Mercy. This series is like big political high fantasy. There's a lot more politics than there is action, though I will say that there is also a lot of action at some point, but it's very slow to get going. They're also, don't get fooled. Don't get fooled. It looks very small, right? It's 800 pages. However, I will say, in Jacqueline Carey's defense, most of her books read very, very quickly. Partly because the chapters are really short. Like, sometimes chapters are like 2 to 3 pages max, which is really great. So, I do very much enjoy the books. So far, I've had a blast with the other ones as well. And so I'm pretty sure that Kushiel's Mercy is going to be another at least 4-star for me. Unless, you know, for once she really fucks up, which I don't think she will. However, again, it's still pretty big, so I want to finish it in December. I just don't know if I will. But if I get to it, I will probably devour it, like, straight away, because that's what usually happens. I'm super hesitant to pick up the books because I'm like, oh, they're so long though, you don't really have the time for that, and then I pick it up and I'm done in 2 days. So it's probably going to be the same for Kushiel's Mercy. I'm not going to kid myself here, but there she is. The next one is a new release, and I just wanted, because I don't know why, but it screams Christmas vibes to me, even though I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with Christmas, and that is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. This is the second installment in, I'm not necessarily sure if you can call it a series, but it's the prequel to Legends and Lattes, and I do believe this is about Viv when she was still not having the bookshop, I think that's how this is gonna go. I know nothing else about it because I want to go into cozy fantasy books completely blind, because that's the fun of them. But I'm really excited. And I do feel like this is probably going to be a reward when I'm so incredibly burnt out from everything I'm doing academically that I just need a break. So that's exactly what this book is for. A lot of the other ones are, you know, they might be more engaging and they might need more of my brain power, and I'm pretty sure that Travis Baldree has got me when it comes for absolute comfort. So, please, thank you. Next, we're going straight away from comfort and we're going into the harder territory. I also still have a quote-unquote challenge that I started for myself, which is where I said I wanted to read 12 classic books this year. I haven't done that yet. So, I mean, I have reread Frankenstein, and I'm honestly on the fence on whether or not I should count that, because I have to reread it for my thesis, which meant that I reread it very slowly, and I tabbed everything in it. But if I don't do that, I have 3 classical books left that I want to read, and I redid one of my choices, because my choice for December was Middlemarch. That's 900 pages. We're not reading Middlemarch this year. But the choices that I have is 2 that I still had and 1 that I switched out. We have Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. This is going to be my second Virginia Woolf novel that I read fully, because the first one was To the Lighthouse. We have The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. I've never read anything by her, not even short stories, if I remember that correctly. So this is going to be a completely new one for me, and I'm kind of excited. It's not too big, but it's a classical book, so we're not going to kid ourselves here. And the one that I switched out Middlemarch for because it was just too long and I could not do that to myself, Beloved by Toni Morrison. I've never read anything by Toni Morrison either. I don't think I've read anything shorter by her as well. So this is going to be my first foray into Toni Morrison, and it's about damn time, because I've been meaning to read her book for a while. I've had Beloved on my shelves for a while now and I just never picked it up. So this is going to be my excuse. Again, these look very small, particularly, you know, the Virginia Woolf one, but are they going to be easy to get through? Probably not. So these are all maybes, and if anything happens and I just find myself unable to get through these, I'm probably going to at least switch out one of them for my finished reread of Frankenstein. Because at the end of the day, reading challenges are supposed to be fun for you, and it's not fun if you have to force yourself through approximately 25 books in 1 month where you're actually kind of busy. So, just putting that out there. We're almost done, and I know that it sounds like a lot more than I probably should put on the TBR, but you know what, we're just winging it. The last one that's going to be fun and also, well, is it cozy? It's not really cozy, but anyway, is the last novel in the Heaven Official's Blessing translation by Mo Xiang Tongxu, or Tiangong Sifu if you know it by its Chinese name. This is volume 8. It concludes the story and it has, I think, 4 extras? Hold up. 1, 2... Yeah, no, 5. It has 5 extras, one of which is long enough to be contained in 2 chapters. No, 3 chapters, sorry. So there's 5 extras to it and the rest of the story. I've read every single other volume so far and I really, really enjoy this series. These novels also always come with very pretty illustrations on the side, which have all been done by fan artists that are then subsequently always, you know, credited and everything. And because this is the concluding end of the series and it came out at the end of November, I really want to finish it this year so I can say I read Heaven Official's Blessing in 2023. That's my achievement. And last but certainly not least, and this is also not going to be a fun read because that's not what it's supposed to be, I have On Palestine by Noam Chomsky and Ilan Pappé. This is a non-fiction source about Palestine. I got it because I didn't have a copy of it previously. I haven't read anything by these 2 authors and I haven't picked up any non-fiction sources on Palestine specifically, so I wanted to start with this one because a lot of people said, including the authors, that it's a pretty good introduction to the entire topic, to what's happening in Palestine. Not necessarily exactly the current events, because this book is from, hold up, 2015, so it's obviously not going to cover any more recent events than that. It's quite frankly impossible unless you have a time machine. But it covers a lot of the situation as to how we got where we are right now, and I cannot stress this enough. If you are in the bookish community and if you have the means, you should be supporting Palestinian authors and you should be supporting reading up on the historical situation and the, you know, current situation as what's happening right now. So this is going to be the first non-fiction source that I read on the topic, apart from a few essays that I've read every once in a while on my own. I highly encourage other people to pick it up as well. As you can see, it's really not that long. It's a bit longer than 200 pages. Yes, it's a very small font, but it's also a very, very tiny book. So if you don't have the brain power to go through massive non-fiction sources, I do believe that this might be a very good place to start. I'm going to try and put a dedicated review out where I even collect more resources on the entire topic, just so you people are also aware that these exist. So yeah, that's why I would really like to finish this in 2023 as well. I'm probably going to read this in between some fiction, simply because non-fiction is very heavy on a poor student's mind sometimes, especially if they're already very busy, which I am, so. But yeah, it sounds more ambitious than it probably is, especially because I usually even out at anything between 15 to 20 books a month, unless it's a really bad reading month for me personally. So it's probably going to be fine. And again, even if it isn't, I'm just going to tell myself that this is December of 2023. I'm very busy outside of reading, so if I don't finish all of the books that are on my TBRs, we don't care in this household, because TBRs are supposed to set yourself up for some sort of goal, and if you reach that or not, that's completely fine. And that was a very short TED Talk with me. Alright, okay, I hope that, as usual, you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up if you did, and also tell me in the comments down below what kind of books you really want to try and finish in 2023, now that, you know, home stretch is ahead of us. As always, I hope that you have a nice reading experience and you continue having a nice reading experience yourself, and I will see you soon.